Sundays have always been sacred to me. It gives me a chance to spend time with my family, with my friends, to focus on my faith. And honestly, We Rest on Sundays is a platform that I've created to help you navigate the complexities of the world. I want to spend time having open, honest dialogue with mentors, friends and family, and individuals that I truly believe are exceptional. We're going to focus on love, career, marriage, parenting, and everything in between. And the primary goal here is for us to become the better versions of ourselves every single day. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on Sunday.
Yep. Khari, what's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing well. I'm super happy that you're here, bro. And I'm happy that God randomly connected us, because I really think it was a God thing. I believe it was my wife who sent me, it was either my wife or one of my line brothers that sent me Instagram reel of library dads.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, it was Kofi. His name is Kofi. He's a Howard graduate. Great man.
Okay.
Kofi, I'm sorry. He sent it to a group that we're in. And he was like, hey, I think this is really dope. I just went this past weekend. Y'all should check it out.
Nice.
So I click it and I go to your IG page and I go to everything else.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I gotta sign up, gotta take the kids. And then I was able to attend with my daughter, and my mind was blown, because I just think it was really special to see how intentional you have been with curating and creating, you and your team, library dads, and really just bringing fathers together on the weekend, taking their kids to the library. It's been nothing short of exceptional. But I don't want to steal your shine and your story, and I know we're going to get into it, but in your own words, who is Khari Arnold?
First, man, let me flip it back just by giving you your flowers, because this platform, man, I mean, it's amazing and it's needed. The vulnerability, I think I told you about that, is what strikes me the most. And so we need this in our community, bro.
I appreciate it.
I was listening to your Father's Day one on the way over. I'm like, why didn't he drop this on Father's Day? This is perfect. You were hesitant. I'm like, this is perfect.
I was.
That story is amazing, man. The vulnerability, the authenticity, the notes that you share, the screen on Instagram, I love it. So I just got to give you your flowers. In terms of who is Khari, where do I begin? I can talk about the Khari since 30. I'm 31 years old, and I can even go back further. But 30 is when I really started to understand what my purpose is. And I think last summer, so tomorrow marks 1 year, bro, since the idea for the Library Dads came to my mind.
Happy 1 year. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah. And even then, I had to discover that this is a calling, but that doesn't make it my purpose. My purpose is bigger than that, because I could be called to do something else one day. And I have to understand that my purpose is to pour into others, primarily through literature. And when I look at my entire life, that's what I've been doing. I just didn't really realize it was through different vehicles, if you will. And so now the vehicle is the Library Dads. It's a calling, right? To where I'm operating in my purpose. And it's been amazing, man. So I'm a dad of a beautiful girl, Araya Joy. And 5 years ago, I became a husband to a wonderful wife, Khari Arnold. And she's been, everything, tremendous. And we met at Howard, our alma mater, just marked 10 years for me.
Wow.
So I know I'm going backwards instead of starting at the top. But before Howard, I was here in Atlanta. This is where I grew up, not too far from here, Southwest Atlanta. I don't know if I should have said.
Yeah, no, yeah.
See, I grew up in Southwest Atlanta, went to Westlake High School. And I've always had a passion for literacy, primarily through writing. Because literacy is the ability to read and write. And so I went to school for journalism, built a career out of it. I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, that's just a quick essence of who I am in terms of the stage right now. But it's a very loaded question, obviously, because it's, comprehensive life. I want to be a comprehensive man, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, it's good, man. I really appreciate that. I didn't know that you went to Westlake. My little cousin just finished Westlake this year, actually, and he's about to go play basketball in college
Wow.
in Indiana, actually.
Okay, nice.
But he loved his journey, man. So you're from here originally. Tell us a little bit more about just like your upbringing, you know, maybe a little bit more about your family life and what it was like being born and raised in Atlanta.
Man, so upbringing, I'll start with, I like to go back to birth just to kind of tell people, you know, a personal story where when I was born in the hospital, the room got really, really quiet. This is how my mom recalls it. She said it got so quiet that she thought something like happened to me to where I wasn't alive. And she was asking, like, is he alive? The doctor came over, told her, he's fine. He was born differently. He was born with one hand. And as a parent now, I couldn't imagine what was going through my mom's head, my dad's head. But one thing I do know, and my dad has even told me this story, where the doctors told him that he may struggle with doing things like playing sports, buttoning his shirt, tying his shoes, things of that nature. And when I tell you, my dad rejected that. Like, I'm sure he had to get himself together. He tells a story about him talking to his dad about it, and really, I'm sure, talking to God about it and wrapping his head around, how am I going to do this? How is he going to do this? The doctors are saying this. And once he got himself together, he said, all right, I'm still going to treat him like a son, a human who can do anything else, anything he wants to do, right? And that was a blessing that him and my mom, they both had that same mindset. And so I grew up without feeling limited in a sense, because my dad, he owns a landscaping company, and he had my brother and I out there working. I mean, on Father's Day, we happened to drive past one of the homes that we used to cut. And he was like, you remember this house? Like, oh yeah, I used to really cut that grass. I had the lines in it. We call them the waves. I had that lawn looking crazy. And so here I am, like, mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
When my dad could have easily said, oh, he has one hand, you know, you just pick up the pine cones. It was like, nah, he always just made sure that I was included and that I was believing in myself, that I could do anything. And so same with my mom from a literacy standpoint. One of her friends in college, she's like an aunt to me. She gave her a book about a man named Jim Abbott. And this man made it to the professional baseball league with one hand. Pitcher for Major League Baseball team with one hand. And there was a book about it, and I saw it when I was 5 years old. It was the first time I saw somebody that looked like me, the very first time. And that allowed me to kind of gain a mentality that, okay, I can be anything that I want to be. Like, it's one thing when my dad says it, but then when I see it, like somebody else that actually looks like me made it to the professional league. So whatever I want to do, I can do. And so that, again, back to the literacy, that's where books really come in terms of the significance and the importance of representation and you seeing yourself in a book. You know, I know we talk a lot about race and gender. For me, it was this, like seeing a man who was born with a different ability. I prefer that term over disability because I never really grew up with the mindset of lack or that I couldn't do anything. Like dis, the prefix of that means not. Bro, it really wasn't too many things that I was not able to do. Like with my friends, I think the one thing that I remember growing up was like the monkey bars. Like I couldn't do the monkey bars. Like, it was just like really, really tough. But every other sport, like the doctor said I wouldn't play, I played it, bro. Like, you see now guys on social media, like Emmanuel Hansel, the basketball player. Oh, I wish I had something like that, like growing up. Because I played baseball, it was cool, but I really gravitated toward basketball and football. But the one I was the best at was basketball. And so I remember finding like some guys on YouTube who were, you know, like me when I was in high school. But we didn't have anybody like Emmanuel Hansel or even football, Shaquem Griffin making it to the league. So I just love seeing that type of stuff nowadays, and people who, I'm sure even kids who are like me, being able to be inspired by, guys like that, where I didn't go be a professional athlete, but, I used people, Jim Abbott, for example, as an example. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a really powerful story, and I appreciate you opening that door and sharing it
Yeah.
as well. Just to click in a little bit more is like, can you talk to us a little bit more about like what Jim Abbott's book really did for you? Like, what was the battery that it put in your back, or what did it do for your confidence when you were? How old were you when you read that book?
So I was 5, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't even remember reading it.
Wow.
I don't even remember any of the text. It was just a picture.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that image. That's really all I remember, and the confidence that came from it. And so it did a lot. I mean, so much so that I didn't even really think about it for a while, man. Really, I thought about it more as I got into this space and revisited my childhood journey and the literacy and where it all started. First book I remember. Then I started reading more sports books, and my mom, she was a journalism major as well, and she would tell me to, hey, just write about this topic. She just gave me like a topic. Like I remember she just said electricity, and I had this composition book, and I would just write a whole page about electricity. And so I just developed this passion for writing, and then I ended up working in sports. And so again, I didn't go play professional like Jim Abbott, but I worked in sports. Or I say worked, I'm still working in sports. This is my current job. So I'm the managing editor of NBA.com. And I got this job right out of college. Not the manager role, but I scaled over the years to this position. And yeah, right out of school, it was my dream job, bro. Like to cover the NBA. Like my senior year, I had NBA.com as my loading page whenever I would open up the web browser. And so every time I'm in class and I open up my laptop,
First thing you see.
it's the first thing I see, And so, all right, when that interview opportunity comes, I can say, hey, I remember when y'all did this, or I liked how y'all formulated this story and packaged this. So that I think was, again, image, bro. It's like what you see. And so I saw Jim Abbott as a kid, and now I'm seeing what I want to be every day, what I want to do, and I'm working towards it, right? It's not like I just left it at that and wasn't doing the work. And I give a lot of credit to my dad in terms of work ethic. It's one thing to have the skills, but if you're not putting in the work, it's irrelevant. And so those summers where he had us, I mean, in that hot Atlanta sun, cutting grass, waking up at 5 a.m., that instilled character. It instilled work ethic. It instilled determination. It also made me realize I need a job that's not in the heat. Like, I need a job that's at a desk. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad, again, my dad never put pressure on me. Like, he never said, yo, I want you to take over the family business. Like, this is why I have y'all doing that. No, he was doing that to teach us to work. So when I had my interview with NBA.com my senior year, and my manager was asking me, tell me about your work ethic and your abilities and how that will translate to this department. Bro, I had 5 internships I could have referenced, probably more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking like national outlets. I went straight to my dad's landscaping company.
Wow.
When I was a kid. Because that's what instilled the work ethic. And so I challenge all dads, you have to make sure that your kids know how to work. Seriously. So
it's good, man. And also on the parenting piece, because we're both raising little ones on our end, and I think one part of your story that's really powerful to me is like, again, you brought it up multiple times in conversations with me revolving around my parents never set limitations on me, right? Yeah. So for you, what did that really do for you growing up and really like navigating through high school and college? Can you just share a little bit more about like that mindset of not putting limits on you and their beliefs in you and really just like what they knew that you'd be able to accomplish?
Yeah, I think it's it was significant, but they didn't just stop with the statement, all right, I'm not going to put limits on them. They became active by exposing me to things. I think we often undervalue the significance and principle of exposure. And so I'll just talk about my mom, for example. Her exposing me to different opportunities in the media space allowed me to get to, where I am today. And so they became active in that exposure part. Again, I can go back and forth with the books all day, but I was exposed to a book. I would attribute every great idea I have to God, of course.
Yep.
And then exposure. Every great idea. I was exposed to something, then I put my creativity on it, my own spin on it, right? So, yeah, I think that's the starting point. If not having any not allowing any limitations to set in, but then from there, all right, now I have to start exposing, my kid to something.
Yeah, man, that's great, man, and super powerful. So thank you for sharing that. So you went to Howard, arguably top one of the top HBCUs. We could go back and forth on which one ranks where, but excellent school, right? All jokes aside, were you just a exemplary student in high school?
No.
How did you talk to us about how you got there? And
man, I was not. My grades were so bad I didn't even get into Howard.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's funny because I'm reading this book now that is bringing back memories of me growing up. I wasn't applying myself in high school. Elementary school, yes, and then middle school, things really started to take a turn where we moved. I ended up going to 3 different middle schools.
Wow.
Middle school only 3 years. And you already know that's a time where you're starting to learn more about yourself. I realize I'm different now because I have been around the same kids since, first grade. But now I'm around these different kids who now they have questions about my arm. They want to, they have their own circles and I'm trying to find where I fit in. And now I'm moving schools again and it was tough. So I think going into high school, I really did not know who I was, bro. Like, if we're being honest. And so when you don't know exactly who you are, you start trying to find it in, other ways. And for me, it was just validation. Like, it wasn't drugs or anything like that, but it was just, I wanted validation from other people. And I didn't really care about the validation that came with good grades. Mm-hmm. And so I fell off track, really, again, just trying to fit in, be quote unquote normal. And yeah, it wasn't healthy. I can say that for sure. But thankfully my mom told my story, some of what I just shared, to someone at Howard. She, she went there too. So she reached out and shared my story. I met someone in the admissions office like over spring break my senior year, and they ended up giving me an acceptance letter a few months after I got the rejection one. And yeah, that moment humbled me to the point where I said, yeah, I really have to apply myself when I get here. And they saw because I kind of woke up around my senior year. That's
high school.
High school. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's when I started to wake up. So, okay, 2.5 GPA, that's not going to get me into, these colleges that I'm seeking. But even though my GPA didn't soar back up after I started applying myself senior year, because free throws, once it's low, it's really hard to get it back to where it should be. When they looked at it and they examined the story that my mom told, they said, okay, let's just meet him in person, see what he's about. And I killed it in that quote unquote interview. But where I really killed it was when I got to school, I said, I'm not making a C. And even though I was told after a while that, you know, nobody's going to ask what your GPA was in college when you get to, you know, your professional career. So true. But for me and for what my mom did for me, I'm not making a C. And so I graduated with 3.75, and I made sure that I did things outside of school to help get me to where I want to be, you know, the internships. But I made sure my grades were going to be taken care of and I was going to apply myself.
Man, that's great. In a story for me that I love to hear and I think needs to be shared more often, because I think sometimes, you know, like, I think especially little boys, it's like boys can go through high school and trying to fit in, not really fully knowing like who they are and trying to figure, do I sit with this group? Do I sit with that group? And, you know, do I fit in over here?
Right.
And you lose focus, because even for you, it's like, you knew that your parents are going to always love you regardless. So you didn't need their validation.
Right.
The validation that you were probably seeking is the same validation that I was seeking in high school, and it was validation from my peers.
Right.
And that's what really, in high school, similar to you, is what ended up allowing my GPA to suffer, right? Like I just wasn't doing what I needed to do. But also similar to you, it was like, okay, if I get into Morehouse, I'm not wasting this opportunity.
No.
So it's refreshing to hear, you know, you were able to lock in as well. And you know, it is not easy finishing college with a 3.75 GPA, man. So, you know, that's exceptional. But let's talk a little bit now about really just, I know you interned pretty much every summer while you were in school, but I believe that you missed out on an internship opportunity at the NBA.com.
Yes.
Can you talk me through that and what that really looked like for you? Because now, you know, here you are still there, but you weren't there when you tried to intern.
So I had the humility part with schooling, where I said, okay, that rejection letter, it woke me up. Like, you played around, you're not going to Howard. And thankfully, it worked out where, you know, I got in. But yeah, I got denied from NBA.com the summer going into my junior year.
Okay.
So my first 2 years of college, again, my grades, cool, but I wasn't really doing anything outside of class that could help me land internships, jobs. I just thought, hey, just focus on school. That was the problem I had in high school. And here was the real wake-up call. I went to Howard with an internship with CNN under my belt. So the summer before I got to Howard, I landed an internship with CNN. Again, I credit exposure. My mom exposed me to a media opportunity. And I took advantage while I was there by meeting other people, exposing myself to other departments. And so NBA.com and CNN, both under the same umbrella, Turner, now known as Warner Bros. Discovery. And this man told me, he's like a high exec at NBA.com, bro. He told me, if you don't come see me when you graduate college, then that means I did something wrong. And he was talking about himself, like he did something wrong.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, well, so I got a job locked like in the bag when I come out of school. I got CNN on my resume. I got this man from NBA.com saying he's got a job for me waiting. So I'm like, I just focus on my grades, you know, party, and I'm good, you know? And so, man, there became an opportunity going into my junior year that summer for an internship with NBA.com. I knew the hiring manager. It was the same gentleman. It's in the bag. Like, I'm not applying to nobody else, any other internship, job, nowhere else, right? It's in the bag. I just knew it. And I remember where I was when he called me and said, it came down to me and somebody else, and the other gentleman got the job. Yeah. But in that moment, bro, I did not pout. I did not put my head down. It was just another wake up call. And so I asked him, I said, what is it that he had that I didn't have. What is it that I could have done differently? And he was straight with me, man, because he to this day he's still a mentor of mine. He told me at that time, he said he had more experience. And here I am thinking I was going to get this because
Relationship.
Like, you can't stop there. You actually have to put the work in. And so I may have wrote maybe a couple stories for my college newspaper, but he had, I remember saying Time Magazine and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh, wow. So he's working. He was a year above me, but it didn't matter. I'm like, he outworked me. And my mindset was, I'm not going to, be told I didn't get, another opportunity because somebody else outworked me or they had more experience. And then I made the mistake of putting all my eggs in that one basket. So that summer, I had to go back out in the hot sun, not with my dad, but at Six Flags. That was my my job that summer, where I said I had to, make some money, but it was in that moment where I said, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to be working in my field, in journalism, in sports journalism. And I had to stop, again, playing around. And so got back to school my junior year, it was go time. I mean, sports editor of the newspaper now, not just these sprinkled stories here and there. Became a sports editor. Friday nights, covering high school football for the Washington Post. So it's go time. Friday nights, parties, like I'm locked in. And then on Sundays, this may have been my senior year, got an internship with they're known as the Commanders now, covering, their football team. And a few others, sprinkled in, USA Today, NBC. And by the time the end of my senior year came around, now I had all these internships, experiences on my resume. And so I had more confidence going into that interview because there happened to be an opening literally a month before I graduated.
Wow.
I got an email sitting in my car outside one of the college dorms. And that same gentleman said, hey, we just had an opening. If you're interested, apply. And now I'm not thinking it's mine because I know him. It's because I put in the work.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's really good. And that's how you landed there. You applied for that and you ended up landing the job.
And the job, bro.
And you've been there since. Pursuing a decade?
Yeah, last week was 10 years.
Wow, man.
10 years. Yep.
That's what's up, man. It's amazing. It's a really good story, and it's a good reminder of like just putting your head down and putting the work in.
Yeah, man.
Right? Like, I'm sure it was a sacrifice your junior year, missing out probably on most parties Friday evenings because you have to work. But like, look at the door that it ended up opening for you. Mm-hmm. This gentleman is now a lifelong mentor of yours.
Yes.
You've been there for a decade. You've advanced your career while there as well. It's probably opened up a plethora of different just doors and opportunities for you. So it's a blessing, man. And it's a good reminder of like, even one door may close, right? The Howard door closed. Guess what? You didn't let up.
Yeah.
It opened up. You got in. NBA.com internship door closed. Guess what? You didn't let up. It opened up and you got in.
Amen.
And I think it's all just a good reminder of like the power of really discipline is like what really comes out the most to me, and just, continue to stay focused and towards your dreams and your ambitions. So I appreciate you you sharing that more than you know. But I do want to spend a little bit of time now just speaking through just fatherhood, right? And that journey for you. See you light up, man, because and I'll light up as well, because
I can talk that all day.
Yeah.
Fatherhood, I can talk that all day.
Yeah, man. Talk to me, man, because it's beautiful, man. Like it is the most, I will say for me, it's the best job that I really have is being a dad. And it's fun to hear people's stories. And it's also fun to see, your peers also how they show up for their kids and how they're leading. Cause I'm stealing nuggets, man.
Sure.
Library dads at, I'm observing and how do they move? How do they correct?
Yeah.
How do they, how are they engaging with their kids? But for you, just talk to me about fatherhood and the importance of it and on your end.
Man, I always heard people say it'll change you, but you just don't know how. And to this day, if I even tried to pinpoint every single way to change me, I'd be missing something, you know, because I've heard you say you have to be very, very selfless if you want to be a parent. And that is 1,000% true. It is 1,000% true, bro. It is a blessing. I think my daughter has the best smile I've ever seen, and my wife is fine with me saying that, but she just like lights up my world, man. And it is an interesting paradox to where at the same time, like, oh my gosh, it is tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tough. And we actually just took her out of a daycare because she's about to start this new program. So she's 2, and we wanted to spend some more time with her over the summer before she started this new program in August. And man, it's been hard having her back at the crib. But I'll say this, man. I don't just talk about fatherhood being an important value of mine, like something like when we talk about our values, God, family, whatever, right? I actually have to implement that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to just say it, but I'm not living it. And so even when it's challenging, I'm reminding myself, this is what I value, bro. Like, we're gonna still go to the library once a week, even if we're not having a library dash thing, because we were doing that before the library dash started. We're still gonna read every day because that's our thing. That's how, you know, we bond. That's our primary bonding method. And of course we do a bunch of other things as well, but yeah, it's tough, man. Like, that's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I don't like saying the cliches of it's tough, but it's rewarding. It is.
Yeah.
But having community, man, having people who can relate to you. So here's kind of where I am, right? Like I said, Library Dad started a year ago. And then I was able to get the community of dads, like people who, you know, can relate to me in this space, because that's what we all need, right? Someone who can relate, who's going through the journey as well, share tips, like you were saying, learning things from. Now I'm in a space where, as the manager of in the corporate space, and then also managing and leading a community, now I need people who can relate to balancing that on top of fatherhood. Because like you said, that job takes priority. And so that's where I'm at. Whereas it's the navigation. I won't really say the balance, if you will, because I think I've got a better grip on that. But just navigating it, it's tough, man. But I love it. I love it. The journey is what comes to mind. You know, I don't want to look back and always say I constantly was talking about how I can't wait for this stage. I can't wait for this stage. So I'm trying to just be as present as I can.
Dude, you just hit it on the head, in my humble opinion. And it literally just gave me chills, right? Because for me, it is everything that you just shared, right? It's beautiful, it's wonderful, it is hard. And I think that we don't always talk about it, because I think as men, and you know, we try to show up certain ways with our family and leading our family. It's like you put all this weight on your back, and you're like, you'll just be quiet. Like, I got it. You'll just add more. No pun intended, but books in the backpack. I got it. And then you don't typically really, you know, like decompress the stress of like, this is hard. We took our kid out of daycare, and that means we have to be uberly intentional every single day, because we don't have that 6 to 8 hour window of her being at daycare and us kind of being able to focus on careers, being able to focus on our purpose projects, all of the things.
1,000%.
I think however though, and what I continue to remind myself of constantly, Khari, is like, I see my 5-year-old daughter and she was 1 last week. That's how quick that time goes by. So now for me, in those moments of quiet frustration internally, or I'm tired, or I know that my patience has run out because maybe I was getting rocked at work, and then I got stuck in Atlanta traffic for an hour and 15 to make it back home, and now I gotta get home and make dinner real quick, and my wife's gonna come and pick up our son, and maybe we got swim, all of those things, right? I remind myself, I look at her and I'm like, 13 summers. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we have. That's all I have left with her under my roof is 13 summers. So the minute that I say that to myself, boy, does that disarm all the other stuff that I'm moving around in my head or stressed out or freaking out about. Because our time is borrowed with these kids, man. And the more that the more that we are informed and we realize that and we remember that, for me, it makes that journey a little bit easier of me like being overwhelmed or stressed or whatever. It's like 13 summers. Because your daughter knows you left the house and you moved back to Atlanta, but you didn't really look back at your parents' house and like that wasn't really like an option long term,
For sure.
It's probably going to be the same thing for your daughter. So I think, I appreciate you sharing the being authentic behind like, man, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because it is.
It is. It is.
But it's also beautiful.
Yeah. And I think before I became a parent, bro, I used to hear about it being hard, and I used to say, oh, why aren't enough people talking about how great it is? Everybody's talking about how tough it is. Now I see, it's one of the things like once you live it, it's like, okay, but yeah, it is a beautiful thing. To your point, I think it's, acknowledging that it's hard and acknowledging that you only get them under your roof for this amount of years, but also finding ways to pour into yourself so you can give them your best self. And so now that I kind of have been in a rhythm, man, but I got to get back into it now that she's back home. Call this an R3 method, where I need to make sure practically I am refilling, having time for recreation and time for recovery.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I want to be intentional about this because I know I'm going to give my wife my best self, my daughter my best self, if I'm doing those 3 things. So refilling, meaning every morning, it's my time with God, bro. It's me and him. I got to be refilled. He's got to fill me up every morning, present. Even if I'm not fully diving into passages of scripture, listening to his voice, right? And so a mix of that, reading, I would consider that refilling as well, the Bible, but of course I read books as well. Then recreation, I have a hobby just like I'm sure every parent does, and we have to be able to tap back into that. For me, it's Madden, and that's just been like my thing since I was a kid. And I try to play once a week. It's been a little tough.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be more intentional of creating that time. And then recovery, man. Since I turned 30, the steam room is like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like, sauna's cool, but the steam room, I love it, man.
Yeah.
Of course, sleep. Like I need 7 hours, man. And I know it's tough. Like with a toddler. Thankfully, she's better now. But we've kind of gotten a rhythm where I'm gonna find a way, to get my wife gonna find a way to get hers. Cause like I said, I'm a manager in the corporate space and I'm managing a community. That means I'm going to make a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
So I got to have rest to be able to make those decisions properly, right? And again, that's a way for me to give my family my best as well. So yeah, those 3 tools practically really help me.
Yeah, it's good, man. Really good. So what inspired you to start taking your daughter to the library every single week?
Exposure. exposure. Again, I'm not gonna undervalue it. So another one of my aunts gave me a book when my wife was pregnant. It's called The Read Aloud Handbook, 7th edition by Jim Trelease. And I read this book constantly during that newborn stage. So I was off work for 3 months. And I told myself I wanted to be present, as present as I can, where I don't want to always be on my phone when I'm with her, even when she's sleeping. You know, I want to be doing something with her, or learning something that could benefit, you know, her, right? So I chose reading during that time, because I didn't realize she was gonna be sleeping 18 hours a day. You know? So I'm like, all right, I'm staring at you, but now
Yeah. What's next?
what's next?
Yeah.
And so that's where the books, you know, started to come in. And I just was reading it, bro. And I mean, light bulb. Mind you, I already had this passion for literacy, but now I'm really starting to see the significance of starting early, even as an infant, even in the womb. And I'm like, oh yeah, gems after gems in this book, man. So to this day, I'm so grateful that my aunt gave me that book, because when my daughter turned 4 months, I took her to the library for the first time, and I said, I'm going to start a challenge. I'm going to challenge myself where every single week for the next year, we're going to the library. Like, this is going to be our thing. I don't have to pay a fee. Like, we're going to the library. It's our time. Because, bro, especially as a baby, it's not really a lot of things we can do to bond with them, right? You know, I had tummy time, you know, a few times, and I'm trying to coach her through that. You know, I can rock her to sleep, but, you know, when it's time for sleeping, she's doing that by herself. When it's time for feeding, she's doing that with mom.
Yep.
When it's time for reading, she's doing that with dad, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, it's my time to shine. I have a lane, you know, to thrive in now. And so after doing that for a year straight, taking her to the library, downloaded the idea of the library dads and said more fathers are going to get the opportunity to do what we're doing, bond with their kids through reading. And add another element, brotherhood. Because I was missing that. I was looking for, like I said, more dads who kind of relate to the journey, bro. It's like, if I'm an entrepreneur, don't you think I can grow more by being around other entrepreneurs, other business owners, that's going to help me on the journey? Why don't we apply that to fatherhood?
Yeah. Yes, man. It is, and that's what I think is so beautiful behind library dads. And honestly, like, it came from, definitely got, but it's like also like your family, your aunt buying that book. And for me, it's like, you're like,
bro, both aunts, bro. So when I was 5 years old, I texted them both a couple weeks ago, thanking them. One gave me a book when I was 5 years old about a man named Jim Abbott who was born with one hand.
Yeah.
First time I saw somebody that looked like me.
Yeah.
That told me, okay, I can do whatever I want to do. Fast forward, I don't know, 25 years later, another aunt gives me a book. And that sparks the library dads. So we can't undervalue the exposure, the ideas, the creativity that comes from books, comes from people who want to pour into you.
Yeah.
Relationships, you know? So, yeah, man, 1,000%.
Yeah, man. Why do you think reading is really just such an underrated tool for fathers?
I'm gonna give you mine. Bro, I'm not a high energetic type of guy. Like, just to be honest with you. Like, now when we go to the park, I'm going to play around. I'll get up there with you. But after a while, I'm gonna get tired, bro. Yeah. Like, this is a transparent space, right?
Yep.
Can we be real transparent?
Uh-huh.
So if you can be honest with yourself, I feel like every father who has tried to say, okay, I'm gonna put my phone down and I'm gonna be present. has done that, and then after X amount of minutes said, all right, I'm kind of bored right now. Like, can we be present? can we be real?
Yeah, yes,
Like,
yes.
After X amount of minutes, it's like,
Yeah, it's factual.
it's like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like, what we doing? Like, I can only play with this dollhouse for so many amount of minutes, bro. Like, before I'm, and so for me, what I chose to feel that time, like when I start to get there, that's where, again, the books came in. So I never had my dad read to me. I'm sure he read the Bible to me, but like actual other fiction books. He didn't do that, but I saw him reading. So that showed me that that's something a boy can do when he becomes a man. And even as a boy too, I read, but now being able to see, you got all these other kids seeing other men reading. Now they understand that's something they could do, especially our young boys, man. One tool I would really say is, because our first pillar with the library dads is bonding. So books is second. So seeing it as an extra way to bond with them. And so as a dad who isn't going to be as energetic, jumping around 24/7, trying to match their energy, it's just not going to happen. But when I'm in a place where I can read to her, I'm allowing both things to exist. Mm-hmm. She's being poured into, and in a sense, I'm chilling. Like, I know it's an active experience, but I'm not like running them out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather read aloud than run them out. That's my saying.
Yeah.
And so I'm pouring into her by doing that. So it has low impact on my body, huge impact on her mind, and then watch this massive impact on both of our hearts.
Yeah. Mm.
See, there's this quote from Cindy Georges in the 8th edition of that book. She says the Read Aloud Handbook. There are only two ways you can educate the heart: life experiences and stories about life experiences. Some of the greatest teachers in history use stories to capture life experiences. Even Jesus did it.
Yep.
Some of the greatest orators that you hear speaking, they're operating in storytelling. And so I'm pouring into her heart, bro. Not just from her seeing me take the time to read to her and bond for her in that way, but also from what I'm reading. Like, she's reading books that start to help build empathy. You know, like you gain all these traits by reading books, man. Like, I'm gonna give you this. Put it like this. I talk about reading being active and not a passive thing, right? So Tatum and B3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say when you go home, you read a book to Tatum and B3, and you ask these questions. What do you think will happen next? Now we are engaging in imagination. Like, we're cultivating that imagination as you're reading. What would you do if that were you? Now we're problem solving. Why do you think they did that? Now we're critical thinking.
Yep.
Well, what just happened here? Now we're practicing comprehension. And how did that make you feel? Now we're engaging in emotional intelligence. Bro, I can't do all this in one setting.
Yeah. One book, potentially.
One book. So I'm teaching, pouring into my kid and spending time with them, and I'm not exerting too much energy. Dad's tired, bro. Mm-hmm. But I'm still serious about your education and your future, your empathy, your emotional intelligence. Here's a way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I do it, bro.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's really, and it's powerful. The way that you just explained it or broke it down like that, it's invaluable. But what advice would you give to the fathers that aren't confident in reading to their children?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I mean, when you say confident, I think it stems from a few things. I mean, we can go further to some dads aren't confident because books can trigger a trauma reminder. Everybody didn't have a good experience with books growing up like I did. Like a book made me believe I could be something.
Yeah.
A book could told another dad he can't. Not because the book said it, but because when he had to get up there and read, he struggled, other kids laughed. And so now when he thinks of books, he's thinking about, a trauma. Like I don't know if people know about the game they used to have us do in school called popcorn, where
Yes.
yeah, you're reading in class, and when the teacher says popcorn, now the next student reads, and that student got to pick on somebody to read, and they probably chose the person who they knew wasn't good at reading, and now that person is struggling, and now they're embarrassed. Now they've ruined their whole association with reading to that. And so now here they are having to relive these moments when they're trying to read to their kid. I get it, but you can't let your pain and predicament get in the way of their potential. And so if that's the reason, you really have to overcome that as a dad. There's a lot of things you have to overcome, like even beyond books. Me personally, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize how much work I had to do on myself when I knew my daughter was born. I'm venturing off topic here because I gotta say this, bro. Like, I realized I was not loving myself the way I needed to in terms of how I viewed myself because of my arm. And so, yeah, I knew I could do whatever I wanted to do, but I still didn't believe that I could love me and that people love me for me. And so I started to kind of hide who I was in a sense, and even my arm in a sense. And when I found out I was having a little girl, I said, how can I tell her to be confident in herself and love herself if she sees me hiding something about me that exists, that is real? Like, I'd be a hypocrite. And not only that, it wouldn't work. Your kids know you, bro. She's gonna see what your insecurities are. B3, he will see your, you know what I'm saying? Every way you look at it. And so that was something I had to really heal from and say, I can't project that pain, that predicament on her, because again, that will impact her potential. Now she's going to find something that she doesn't like about herself, doesn't love about herself, and now she is becoming less of herself. And I want her to operate in her fullness, bro. And so, yeah, it's if it's something physical or if it's something like reading, you got to address it. And if you actually struggle to read, because that's a real thing, it doesn't always have to be books with a ton of words on it. It can be books without any words. And now you're telling a story. You can narrate the pictures. Again, like I said, the book about Jim Abbott, I don't remember any of the words. I just remember the pictures.
Yeah.
I saw someone that looked like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you bringing that full circle. And again, being very vulnerable with like the journey, where you're just like, look, I wasn't being 100% myself, and I was, struggling with this on my end as well. And I think, man, if there's anything I can encourage you with, not even that you need it, it's like, dude, the very first time that I saw you at library, it was my first time seeing you in person,
Right.
and meeting you as well. But I knew how you really like connected with the fathers deeply, immensely. I was like, nah, this is an overly confident dude. This is great. Like, we need this pillar of a leader cultivating this group of people, this group of men together. Because, like, your first time well, maybe you don't know because you were the first person to start it, but your first time going to Library Dads, and I'm a confident man, it's still a little like, you're like, oh, it's not my tribe. I need to figure out,
I'm an introvert. I get it.
Yeah, But y'all do such a great job of breaking down
Yeah.
that tension.
Right.
Because you come in and it's activities everywhere
Yeah.
throughout the room. You know,
Right.
you got whatever your kid, I believe, whatever your kid enjoys to do, it's a
It's
little
there.
something
Yeah,
there
for
for
sure.
that kid,
For
you know?
sure.
So
Yeah.
it's like my daughter instantly was like, oh, they're drawing. Ran straight over to a little girl, like where she was drawing, started drawing. I'm like, well, I guess I'm about to meet this dad.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's what
Yeah.
it does, you know? So I think for you being just showing like your full truth and like being more confident and comfortable with it is like everything. Because to your point, you are showing that girl that like the world is hers to
Yeah.
go and get and to be the best version of herself, be authentically herself. Because I have my own adversities that I still struggle with. Like I still get insecure about my upbringing, you know, and I still deal with that trauma from time to time where I'm thinking about it or whatever else. But then I have to like get out of my own head and I'm like, you're safe, man, and you have a tribe, you have a community.
Yeah.
You're adding more people, new men and people to your tribe where you're like, oh, I'm more than safe. Like I'm living a really, really good life.
Yeah.
And I think you're definitely in that position as well because I see the beauty of this wonderful organization that you guys have stood up, the Library Dads, man. So just share a little bit more about. I know y'all are, you know, just hit a year, but like or hitting a year. But the journey, right? Like, I know how the idea came to life, but like, how were you able to still like scale it? Because I'm sure your first meetup probably wasn't that big as what it currently has grown to, but just take us a little bit more through the Library Dad's journey.
And let me say this too, bro, because even though it's been a year, God had to work on me for years prior to entrust me with something like this, right? So like I said, that experience that I just told you about, that was 2022, when my wife was pregnant with our daughter, and I really started to have those feelings. And so it took years for me to even get in front of that space where you see me talking to all these dads in this room. I don't know if I would have been comfortable doing that
Yeah.
5 years ago, bro. And so you really have to work introspectively, consistently, constantly. It's not like I just stopped, but yeah. So it took time to even get there. So I just wanted to say that before I talked about, you know, what it's took, you know, the past year. Started with, man, 10 dads if you include mine.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad was there. I had another cousin to show up, and then there were 8 dads, including myself, with their little kids. And from there, man, just looking at the numbers, we've had over 300 dads and their kids.
Wow.
The past year.
Yeah.
So that's 600 lives touched in total. And
Minimally. That's just one kid.
that's if you got one.
Yeah.
I've had a dad pull up with 4.
Oh, yeah.
He's on our Instagram page, and one of our pinned posts, he pulled up with 4 kids. And I don't know how he was able to create content during that time.
Wow.
But they loved it, all 4 kids. And honestly, man, it's been such a great experience, just liberating, seeing, of course, the kids enjoying it, man, but the dads as well, just the conversations that I see them having. And even if I'm not eavesdropping, but I walk past, or, you know, I'm looking at one of the videos, and they were talking about some like really good stuff, man. Like they were having a real conversation just about life, man. Even me, man. So I've gained so much wisdom and knowledge from other dads and perspective, and not feeling like it's just a me thing, or it's just my kid, you know. And me wanting to get out, like just last weekend, or no, the weekend before last, man, I was struggling at home by myself with baby girl. Like, and it's not even like she was doing a lot. I think I had a lot on my mind.
Yep.
It was Sunday. I'm thinking about everything I have going on this upcoming week. And I'm trying to be present, but it's tough. Like my mind was just like so foggy, bro. And so what I do, I called up one of the dads. I said, yo, what you doing, man? You down to link up with, you know, the kids? He's like, bro, I'm outside playing with the drone with my 2-year-old. I'm pulling up on you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get out the house. He's like, yeah, man, pull up. We was over there for a few hours having a great time, man. And I told him, I said, bro, that really like helped me, man, because I was just like, just not there mentally. I just wasn't. And it just felt so liberating, man, being around, you know, someone else I could just talk to, chill with while the kids playing around. And so having that space, you know, on Saturday mornings, I think has been really beneficial. But then also seeing dads exchanging numbers during that time so they can link up outside of this, you know, real important, bro.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. And I have one more question for you, but you created something that's absolutely beautiful, man. And it's a joy to be a part. But what's next, man? What's next for Library Dads?
Man, we've been full steam ahead, so I'm gonna catch my breath after this 1 year anniversary. But pull up on July 19th. We will be having a huge ultimate library link up. Want that to be our biggest one yet, bro. I mean, I don't want there to be a parking space open because we're gonna have the library packed. We're gonna have activities outside, bouncy house, funnel cakes, bunch of books giveaways that we'll be doing. But after that, man, you know, catch my breath a little bit and then really start planning for 2026 and some things we want to do, including an author showcase. I want to bring more authors together in one space and allowing kids to walk around and see all these different books, yes, but also the writer, and being able to see, hey, this can be something you could want to venture into, you know, and tell your story. That's one, man. We got a ton. I know expansion has been a primary question that we get. How can we start the Library Dads in this city and in that city? 1,000% something we want to do, bro.
Yeah.
We just got to make sure we got the right systems in place so that it's sustainable. And so I always say I'm a KPI type of guy. And the systems got to be in place, you know. It's got to be structured correctly, because I don't want this to be some overnight hype, you know, success. Like one dad said at one of our link ups, he said, I would hate to see this community not exist years from now because the community didn't invest right now. And so, you know, when we say invest, it's not even just from a financial donation component, but even the volunteers, man. So, you know, we have a system in place now where we're bringing in more dads who can help, even if it's something like, you know, unloading the stuff out of my car, bro. But yeah, trying to expand, you know, the team, the help. We have a great team, some really great men and women who have been assets to me and the Library Dads over the past year. So continuing to make sure they get their rest, you know, and I'm always telling them the same thing I preach, where your child is going to come before this community. Like, don't go so hard for this that you start to forget
That.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to espouse that by any means. Like, you need to be there for your kids. And if you feel like this is getting in the way, just let me know. We'll do whatever we got to do to make sure that's not the case, man. Because it's one thing to say I value this, but it's another thing to truly live it. And so that's it, bro. You know, trying to get as clear as possible, man, on what God has next. Not trying to move ahead of him. But yeah.
It's good, man. Listen, it's really an honor, man, and a privilege just to meet you, know you, and to continue to spend time in Library Dads. Man, I truly believe in what you have built, how you're showing up for the community, how you continue to encourage fathers to lean in and be the best versions of fathers and husbands and whatever it may be for themselves. I think it's great, man, and it truly is a full group of just community is what it feels like, man. It feels like a hug for fathers, which is really, really dope, man. But but how can you just share your IG handle and how can people find you?
At the Library Dads on Instagram, TikTok, Yes, same for the website, thelibrarydash.org. And you can find us on July 19th at Wolf Creek Library.
Listen, man, thank you. I appreciate the time, brother. It was great sitting down and doing this with you. I know it won't be our last time because I'm
sure,
going
man,
to want to
for sure.
continue to be a part of the wave as you continue to grow and scale, but I appreciate you, man.
Hey, like I said, bro, thank you. Like I know your purpose is to help people like myself and addressing the complexities of the world, bro. It's a very complex space, and the world we live in now, how it's always evolving, man. You got to be able to have these type of conversations, bro. And so I'm big on community, but I'm also big on conversations. So this was liberating for me.
Man, I appreciate
thank
it.
you, man.
My
Yes, sir.
pleasure.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
bro.
All right, man.
Take care.